Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021/2022 found footage film Dashcam, a film that's co-written and directed by Rob Savage, and it stars Annie Hardy and Amar Shadhar Patel. Now this film focuses on Annie Hardy, who plays a version of herself because she's called Annie Hardy in the film as well. She is an American citizen in the UK, visiting a friend. She runs like her own channel. It's like a music type channel, like a rapping channel. And she's got some fairly extreme political views, especially when it comes to COVID and things like that, because this is set during the pandemic and lockdowns and things like that. Now, she has a little bit of a fallout with her friend Stretch, and essentially steals his car. And he essentially delivers meals for Just Eat type of apps. And she gets a call. She ends up going on his behalf. And she gets roped into taking a passenger in the car. They basically pay her off. And from that moment on, when her friend Stretch finds her, things get pretty intense and certainly very chaotic and weird. Right, what are my thoughts on Dashcam? Well, I love found footage. You guys know that I love found footage if you follow this channel. So I've been really quite looking forward to this one. I'll be honest, it's a film I didn't really know a lot about. And then this has been getting a lot of buzz just recently on YouTube and in the horror community especially. And I first became aware of this film watching Leo's review over at Geek Legion of Doom. And apparently this has got a little bit of controversy surrounding it. Apparently it's in the cinemas at the minute. It's having a short run in the cinemas, but it's also reportedly been pulled from some cinemas because of the controversial views of this character Annie within the film. So, controversy and horror pretty much go hand in hand. So I don't actually imagine it's going to do the film any harm at all in regards to getting extra publicity. But in regards to found footage, as a found footage fan and a found footage film, where does this one stand? Well, I think my overall trying to make sense of this film is not going to be easy, but my overall feelings toward this film are generally really quite positive. I thought it was original, creative, and at times incredibly immersive. But there's also an air of frustration with the film as well at times. Now, the director, Rob Savage, I think has got some real talent. Certainly, in regards to found footage, which is all the only films I think he's done so far. He directed Host, which came out in 2020, and in my opinion is one of the best found footage films of the last several years. I thought it was wonderful and really, really effective. So while this is found footage, there is really where the similarities end in regards to the style of films, in regards to Host and this one. This one is, incredibly chaotic, with a really unique central character. This Annie Hardy is going to divide audiences. I think she already is. Like I say, she's quite an extreme character with extreme views that many of us won't agree with. But I'm not going to lie, there are several points in this film where I thought she was hilarious. Just some of the stuff she was coming out with when things were going off around her. Some of the comments you were making, I'm not going to lie, I laughed out loud more than once with this character. I thought, while one side of the character I didn't feel like she was a real person or acted like a real person in those scenarios, there was another part of me thought this character that was created, if you like, for this film worked beautifully for this film and generated some real moments in the film in regards to her personality and things like that. Put it this way, it's a character you're not going to easily forget. I don't think I am. And too many of these horror films, especially found footage, are jam-packed full of dull, boring and generic characters. And like I say, on one hand, it works for this character because it makes her feel unique. On the other hand, it doesn't, because she doesn't necessarily feel real at the same time. So there are strengths and weaknesses there. If you like balls to the wall chaos when it comes to found footage, I think you're going to revel in this. You're not going to have a clue what's going on, because I certainly didn't for the most part. There are more than a couple of scenes where it really made me jump. I mean, there was one scene in particular with an airbag that I nearly jumped 6 feet off my seat. And there's a couple of others as well that are really, really effective, I thought. But there's cameras everywhere. I mean, the camera is on basically because she's like filming this channel thing that she does, this live broadcast that she always does where she like raps and things like that. And while she was quite annoying, certainly in the early parts of the film, she's quite a good rapper, actually, quite a good musical performer, to be fair. But is there an argument that there are aspects of this film that you just wouldn't be filming anymore? Yes, but I think you can make that argument for many found footage films. But yeah, very, very shocking at times. And it just doesn't explain itself at all. You've no idea what's going on and why it's happening. And quite atmospheric as well, some of the locations that were chosen. There's like a fun fair and all this kind of stuff, and like tunnels, and the way they lit it was very creative. There were some scenes that felt like they were from VHS 2, and it almost felt like it was dipping into other found footage films, some of the best parts of them. But like I said, it's so chaotic, I think it's going to put a lot of people off. But I really appreciate it. I do think this director, Rob Savage, has got some real talent for these types of movies. I'd like to see him do like a mainstream horror to see what he's got in regards to that. But found footage, this is the second one I've seen of his now, and they've both felt completely different in regards to found footage, and very original and very, very effective, which is not easy to do. It's not easy to make found footage films and make them feel like they've each got their own identities, if you like. It isn't easy to do. And this one, for me, as a found footage film, feels like it stands out on its own, and it's got its own identity, and it does feel original and fresh, which is pleasing. Because, again, like I said, we don't get enough of that. Too many found footage films now are just ticking boxes and going down that generic route. Most of them are just kind of falling in the 4s and 5s out of 10. I'm looking for something that's trying to elevate the genre a little bit. And while I do feel a bit like Malignant, that came out, was it last year, Malignant? It was, wasn't it? That divided audiences. I liked it because it was different and it was fresh and it was original. And that's a little bit of my take on this one. I like this because for those very, very reasons. It's trying to be different, trying to be a little bit fresh and give a different approach to you could argue, a tired genre in regards to found footage. So I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I almost went for an 8. Part of me really does want to give it an 8 because I love the chaos in the film. But I'm also acutely aware that there's some audience members will watch this and it'll be like Marmite for them, I suppose. So if you're a hardcore found footage fan, I think you will find a lot here to enjoy. If you're not, this isn't the place to start. So I hope you enjoyed this review for Dashcam. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.